if you're Walmart, you're doing pretty good. They're packed. Not a lot of social distancing going on there, man. I'll tell you. It is all lies. But you know what's really hurting are our small businesses who are being treated as separate and unequal. And it is outrageous. So we are fighting for them. We have a group of great business owners who are not just serving people outside in 100-degree heat. They are serving people inside as well. And it's a righteous fight. We're in a county where the virus is often non-existent. We have 33... Sorry. A little louder.
USA!
We are a county that had 32 deaths last year. We have one death now. This is out of control. So one of the people that we're fighting for are our students. And our students now have been told that they need to go to distance learning as of 2 days ago. One of those students is my daughter. And we're not going to stand for this. We are going to stand up for our students as well as our businesses. So I brought one of the students today. She's my daughter, Sophia. She's a warrior. She's her section tennis champion. But more important than that, she's an FFA member. More important than that, she's somebody who doesn't need to be raised in fear and in the inhuman manner of pretending that kids need to be learning at home on a computer for 8 days for 8 hours a day. So we're going to change that. So this is one of the warriors in the Kristen family, and she's going to give you her perspective, and we're proud of her and love her very much.
An amazing speaker like half the people that have been talking, so bear with me here. I am a student at Bear River High School in my Nevada County, and I've been asked to come up here to talk for my generation that has been muffled, and we have not been able to share what we are feeling, what we are being put through, what has been taken away from us. So I am here to speak for the people who have been put in fear, who have been shut down, and I'm here to speak for them on their behalf. Last Wednesday, my school board called everyone and said that we are now put back onto social distancing learning, which we were put on a couple months ago, 6 months ago. And I remember the day that they told us that we were going to distance learning, and our governor told us it would be 2 weeks. And here we are today, not back in school. And now we'll probably turn into a year. Our seniors last year didn't get a graduation. Our seniors this year will not get a senior year. The things that we are taking away from these students, our governor has given us no solutions. We have all these solutions, and he doesn't blink an eye at them. He doesn't speak of them. He does not help us. He says, this is how it is. You deal with it. These are the laws, or these are your consequences. But if we have people like this, if we get together like this, we can shut him down. Social distancing. I've been homeschooled my whole life. My freshman year was my first year back in public school. So I know how to, do homeschooling. Distance learning, let me tell you, you learn nothing. I learned nothing. If it wasn't for my mom and dad with their smart minds, I probably wouldn't have passed my sophomore year. I also did ag mechanics. How am I supposed to do ag mechanics with distance learning? You want to buy me a welder? You go right on ahead. I also raised a steer. I got my fair taken away from me. So did many of my friends. I built a fair project. So did many of my other friends, and that got taken away with us too. So I'm just here to make people aware that we have had multiple things taken away from us, and we are not here to stand for it. I am not. I'm glad that I got raised with the family that I did, that does not kneel to a feared governor, who does not help his community, who is not a leader. He is just a dictator. And I saw your quote. It said, from Will Wallace, it says, they will never take away our freedom. And I had another one today. My dad loves Braveheart. And the one quote that he wanted me to say was, all men die, but not all men get to live. Truly live. Thank you.
for you to meet Ken Page of Friar Tuck's in Nevada County, being in Nevada City, because this is what a business who stepped up and is.
I'm glad I got 30 seconds, is all I can say. I'm a business owner. The rubber hits the road. When you own a business, you have employees and you have community. I didn't know how to retire. God said you have a plan for your life beyond age 65. Bought a restaurant a year and a half ago, and now I know why we got the restaurant. We decided to, my son, Chad, my wife, we decided that's enough. We need to stand up, and we need to let the sovereignty of God work in our lives through all of you. So it's fight the fight, don't give up, come to Friar Tuck's and the chicken wings on me.
Thank you. So, Dean, our next speaker is coming up, but as she's coming up, just remember, this is what your town looks like. These people are out there waiting for you to stand with them and to organize, to help support the businesses, help protect our children so that they can actually have a healthy, natural life with each other and in schools, and our churches are open together. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Our next speaker, Deanna Lorraine. She's a conservative activist who ran for Congress against Nancy Pelosi and author of the best-selling book, Taking Back America. And again, remember, if you would like to organize locally in your counties, we have sign-up sheets for strike teams. We really need you guys to start signing up and getting involved locally. Hello, Sacramento! Hello, California! Who is ready to get loud and bold? We cannot be quiet anymore, baby. We need to get loud. We need to get bold. We need to take back America. I just ran for Congress against nasty Nancy Pelosi. And guess what else? I lost to a radical Muslim far-left socialist whose parents were in a domestic terrorist organization who murdered cops. That's who I lost to, and guess what? He won by a landslide, too. I'm not gonna lie. So now it's only nasty Nancy Pelosi and a radical socialist running in that seat in the November election, guys. Right? So, I say this because it's okay to see that there's no Republican choice on the ballot anymore, but that means we need to fight that much harder, right? Because these are the kinds of people they're trying to install into our government all over. If we're not careful and we don't go out and vote and we don't go out and fight. The commies, absolutely. And I spent, it's okay because once the March primary, all of a sudden COVID happened and the shutdowns and the lockdowns. And then I decided, well, I'm quarantined anyways, what am I going to do? So I decided instead of to twiddle my thumbs, I started to write a book. So I just wrote a book. It just came out yesterday. It's called Taking Back America. It's all about what we need to do to fight and take back America. Right? Because the thing is, you know it and I know it, that every facet of this coronavirus sham has been based on a fraud. Okay? And all these draconian measures that have been taken in response to it have been based on fraudulent information and premises. All right? What happened to 15 days to flatten the curve? What happened to that? Now is it just infinite time? Infinite time while they just keep on lockdown after lockdowns, while they strip us of their freedoms, all of our freedoms, and they just push this creepy new dystopian future, take away our rights, push mandatory vaccines on us, traumatize our children. Is that going to happen? Are you guys going to stand for that? Hell no. This is why we fight. Hell no. coronavirus cases. Right? They're false positives. In fact, I would argue to say that most of them are false positives. And there's even, people have been testing non-human coronavirus samples, including the president of Tanzania, who happens to be a scientist. He tested a piece of fruit, and he tested an animal, a goat, and they came back positive for coronavirus. Okay, what's going on here? They're also counting presumed positive deaths for coronavirus as well. You could basically jump out of an airplane without a parachute on, and they'll say, died from COVID. Right? This is wrong. This is a fraud of epic proportions. And yet, they're basing all of these dystopian, draconian measures on these fraudulent information. What's going on? What is going on? Right? Fire Fauci! 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 Guess what? I did start the Fire Fauci hashtag, by the way. I did, and it made it into President Trump's press conferences, which is pretty cool. And it made him address it, right? It is long past due that we fire Fauci and we get some real doctors in there who don't just push vaccines and lockdowns, and who actually talk about boosting our immune system and common sense ways to boost our health, right? Right. So guess what? Coronavirus and all these governors, it stopped being about our health when these people, these governors like Gavin Newsom said with a straight face that we cannot protest, we have to wear a mask, we have to be vaccinated, locked down, stripped of our businesses, but he encourages us to protest against Black Lives Matter. And somehow the coronavirus can't get you. And are you going to say with a straight face where he said we have to ban fireworks for the 4th of July, and he's issuing contact tracing, a whole contact tracing operation, and he is banning singing in churches? Are you going to tell me? Are you going to tell me? Are you going to tell me? While he keeps his own winery open, by the way. Right? And he's making money. Are you going to tell me that it's about our health anymore? Hell no, it's not about our health. When you're banning singing in churches, when you're banning fireworks, but no, you can just openly protest for Black Lives Matter and anything else. It's ridiculous. You know it, and I know it, that this is not about our health. This is not about our safety. This is about global tyranny. This is an excuse to usher in global tyranny. I'm sure you all know Agenda 2030. They're pushing it in. Agenda 2030, the 4th Industrial Revolution, Event 201. Look it up. By the World Economic Forum. This is all going down right now. And guess what? I know I gotta wrap up. You gotta rip this microphone off of me, okay? Guys, this is happening right now. And guess what? They're gonna push this in relentlessly, whether Trump wins or not. They are pushing it through. Remember, President Trump is only one man, okay? The power lies with us. The power lies with us. We the people! We the people! And the government, we should not be afraid of our government, okay? The government should be afraid of the people! The government should be afraid of the people! The government should be afraid of the people! We have the power, guys, and we have to fight back. We have to be bold, because this agenda is coming fast, whether we like it or not, and we have to stand up. One last quote, okay? One last quote, I'm done. There's a famous quote that I love by Edmund Burke. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. Are we going to allow this evil to stop us and to take over our world, take over our future? Where our future is filled with masks and social distancing and a lack of humanity. No. We have to be good men and good women, and we need to stand up to this tyranny and not let anyone, we can't wait for anyone to save the day. We have to save our own day. We have to take back our own country. Right? God, family, and country.
sorry, we got a few more speakers to go and we're on a time clock here. So our next speaker is John Duncan. He's a pastor, a retired police officer, a businessman, and a patriot. The majority of his professional career has been in public service. He maintains a passion for promoting and pursuing the truth, and it is his greatest hope that we awaken to the blessing we have received as a nation and work to ensure that the liberty we have lasts for generations to come. Please help me welcome Pastor John Duncan, who was one of the first pastors in the nation to stand up boldly and not close his church when this lockdown happened back in March.
Hello, Californians. Hello, Patriots. How many know that we are in a trying season right now? And here's the interesting thing, as many of the speakers have said this morning, is that the opportunity remains for us to take back the ground that has been taken in one way or another. But I challenge you in this. Will you let the peace of God rule your actions as you stand courageously against tyranny and against the efforts of the government to take our God-given rights? Will you stand? Do you believe that our rights are God-given? Do you believe the founding fathers didn't understand how to write a document, or do you think they knew exactly what they were dealing with? They knew exactly what they were facing, and the reality is this. What are we seeing in America right now? We're seeing the revelation of what was going on under the surface. It's coming to the forefront, and there are going to be things that boil up that will rock the conscience, and I challenge you in this. Do not forget what you are seeing. Do not forget what you've seen, what you've heard. In many communities, they are angry right now. For years, liberals and Democrats have been making them promises that they did not keep. Do you understand their frustration and anger? But we open the door. We as conservatives, as patriots, as God-fearing people begin to open the door and welcome in our brothers and sisters, our fellow Americans. The challenge before you is this. And I made a couple notes and I want to hit them this morning. But clarity is coming to America. Clarity is coming to the heart and mind of America. We for too long have been putting up with things that are inexcusable. We have not wanted to look, but it is time to look, and it is time to reveal the things that have been going on. I challenge you in this. Our government has come and in so many different ways stolen our money and given it to things that do not matter. I don't trust the government that has no problem killing babies in the womb and putting COVID-19 positive people in elderly homes, endangering the most sensitive and vulnerable members of our population, and then turning around and chastising us and shaming us for wanting to take a stand. Your rights matter. Now the challenge to the church, the challenge to the patriot is this. What would you have said about you if today was your last day? How would history be written regarding your name? It's time to fight. It's time to stand. We need to take back education. Churches need to open their doors and demand the government get the boot off the neck of the church and the small business. Our state is broke. They have broken themselves due to political ideals and spending on things. There's the government again, shutting off my mic. Just kidding. But nonetheless, spending it on things that benefit them. Deep pockets for those, for them, not us. And the challenge has become this. How much will we take? But here's the goal. Here is the goal. We can't let our message be lost in our anger. We have to speak clearly. We have to speak directly. And I'll challenge you this. Churches, I know pastors, you are listening. If you will not speak now for the freedom of the people who have been given God-given rights, if the church won't stand, then who's going to? If the pulpits won't speak, who's going to? Remain silent and see what happens. Make a deal with the government and see what happens. See, one thing before I go I want to leave you with. California can be restored. California can be restored. We can heal the broken. We can reinforce what is still standing. Look around you. Take a... There's the government again. Take a look at the bridge behind you and the beautiful scenes. This state is amazing, full of amazing people like you. There's a story in the Bible of a prophet who got tired of speaking the truth. He hid in a cave, God came and fed him. And he was worried. He was worried he was all alone. And God said, I have 7,000 who have not bent their knee. I have 7,000 who have stood against the government of the day. Look around you. Look around you. We are not alone. We are able. We are willing. But I pray this. Let peace be your guide. Do not lose your message in your anger. Speak clearly, because people truly are hurting. They truly are broken. They truly are lonely. But I believe we are ready. Will you join me in standing for your God-given freedoms? Thank you for coming today. You are loved. And yes, all lives matter.
All right, one quick announcement. We had a driver's license that was found on the ground.
No mask, no.
How do you see that name?
No mask, no.
Irene. Irene. So if you lost your driver's license, please come to the back of the table and we'll get your driver's license. All right, here we go. Our next, thank you, Pastor John Duncan.
Excuse me?
So great to have local pastors standing strong.
In Lodi.
In Lodi?
Yeah.
Okay, our next speaker
Oh, yeah.
is
No, I didn't.
Dr.
Yeah.
Jeff
I'm
Politicians don't actually care about your children. What if the politicians are playing politics with all of our children? To assign motives to their decisions, but you clearly are not following the science.
Free Palestine!
When it comes to our children and schools, the science is crystal clear. Who can tell me how many children in the state of California have died from COVID-19? That would be 0. So why then are we going through these machinations of opening up schools when children are not at risk of this virus? What we also know is that there's very little, if any, evidence that children spread this virus to adults and to teachers. Currently, there has been 0 cases of school children spreading this virus to their adult teachers. It just doesn't happen. Now, don't get me wrong. This virus, if you're in a high-risk group, is deadly. If you're an old person and you have significant pre-existing conditions, beware. If you're in a nursing home, beware. But if you're in a younger, healthier age group, you have nothing to fear. In addition, we know that if treated early with mild symptoms, we are very successful at treating this virus with a range of treatment options, including hydroxychloroquine, zinc, and Z-Pak. But the bureaucrats don't seem to want to make this available to us, and makes it difficult for physicians to prescribe medications and treatments that can offer a benefit. When treated early with mild symptoms, we're very good at treating this illness. When treated late, it's very difficult to treat. So I'm here to tell you that the politicians are not looking after your best interests, and certainly not the best interests of our children. I appreciate so much that you're here to support all these speakers, to support this movement. It's important that you're here. It's important that you show up at the ballot box. It's important that you show up not just at the big races, but at the smaller races too, and that includes school board races, city council races. That's where some of these decisions are being made. We have over 1,000 independent school districts in the state of California, yet our imperial governor thinks he knows best and wants to take the decision-making away from the local school districts and put it back up at the central location across my back in Sacramento, and that's just wrong.
So it's time we let our Imperial Governor know that we won't stand for that. We want local control, local decisions. We want parental rights over education. We want the parents to make decisions about their children, not the governor. I'd like to introduce to you a bold warrior on the ground in Orange County, California, on the County Board of Education, who recently approved a white paper guideline asking and giving permission to school districts that want to use their guideline to open the hell up. I'd like to introduce to you my wife and school board member at the County of Orange County, Mary Barkey.
Thrilled to be here with you. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for protecting our rights and our children. We did make a very bold move. About 2 weeks ago, we approved a white paper that suggested that schools could open safely, that children were at a bigger risk of not being in school than they are of being in school. Much bigger risk on the freeway or in swimming pools than in any school. No child in Orange County has died, as my husband told you, so we'd like to see the schools open, but it's not going to happen unless you fight. I did hear from my friend Mark Kristen that I believe yesterday a small district in Nevada County voted to open. That's the first we've seen in the state. I understand also that they used information from our white paper. If anybody wants our white paper, probably the easiest thing to do is go to Mary, M-A-R-I, at marybarkey.com. Mary at marybarkey.com. Mary has an I, Barkey has an E, and I'll send you that white paper. We also have in Orange County something called the Parent Union. It's spreading across California, and we have a huge rally on Tuesday, November 4th. Guess where? In front of the Teachers Union. I'm sorry, August 4th. August 4th, Tuesday, 5 to 7 p.m. We'd love to see everybody out there. We'd love to see thousands of people right in front of our Teachers Union because they don't want to open schools. We got to show them who has the power. The parents have the power. The parents are in the best position to make decisions for their children. Our paper suggested that kids are safe without masks, but that's also a parental decision. Send your kids to school with a mask, without a mask. It's up to you. But please fight for your kids and fight for America. God bless all of you. Thanks for coming out today.
Right before Heidi introduces, I just want to say again, Mary Barkey, Department of Ed, Orange County, they did an expert panel and did a real transparent process with public involvement, came out with guidelines that can be used in every town, every school, every county, every state in this nation. You can find it on Freedom Angels as well, on Jeff Barkey's, on Mary Barkey's. We'll show you more ways. I can't tell you enough what an incredible tool that they have put together for us to fight for our kids, to open our schools and say there is no reason to keep them closed or to have them masked or social distance. So thank you.
Hi, how are you doing? Great.
Thank you very much.
My name is David.
Dr. Barkey and Mrs.
I'm from
Barkey.
Kazakhstan.
What a pleasure and honor to have them come all the way up from Orange County.
I think everything is right. I am actually...
When you become comfortable with sin, you start to get comfortable, you want to sit down, and this is the reason why we're in this mess, because a lot of us got comfortable along the way and we stopped doing the things that's important. So when you become comfortable with the devil, he runs havoc in your life. So this is the result of becoming comfortable with sin. 1962, they took prayer out of school. When they took prayer out of school, they opened the door up for the devil to do anything he wants to do. I have yet to close my church doors, and I will refuse to close my church doors.
Thank you so much.
See, I didn't come to bring a political side. I came to bring a sword because Christ. I'm telling you right now, man. I'm telling you right now here, I don't care who's in the White House. I support Trump. That's the reason why I lost a lot of friends along the way, because I support what he's doing for America. I support what But besides all that, I support Jesus Christ. So for all you kneeling fans out there, Psalms 95 tells me to kneel before nobody but our Lord, our Maker. So if you like to be in the kneeling business, get back to prayer. If you want to start a movement, start a prayer movement. Don't give me your theology. theology, give me your neology. It's time for you to get back to praying and asking God to forgive me for my wrongdoings. Forgive me for thinking adultery. Forgive me for thinking sexual immorality. Forgive me for stealing. Forgive me for lying. Don't come with me with your politics. Come with me with your prayer life. And that's what it's going to matter. I came all the way up. I flew out here last night to let you know that Jesus lives. I'm standing on the Capitol floor. Listen, at the end of the day, each and every one of you, at the end of the day, the Bible says every tongue will confess. Every knee will bow. You better bow now before it's too late. The kingdom of heaven is, I'm telling you, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. God is soon to return. And listen, stop asking Jesus to come back now because some of us ain't ready. Stop telling that, because listen, if you said Jesus come back now, you a selfish Christian. You a selfish believer. There's people that's not ready. You yourself may not be ready. So today, get ready. Today, get your house in order. Get your money in order. Get your finances in order. Get your life in order. But get your prayer life in order. Pray for your pastor. I don't know where the pastors have gone. I don't went on vacation. I don't know. But I'm standing here flat-footed to proclaim my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. So I know the devil don't like me. And I'm all right with it. I didn't come down here to make friends. I can't let the devil know that this ain't his territory. I can't let the devil know that this ain't his place. I can't let the devil know that he will not have this victory. I serve an awesome God. How many here serve an awesome God? How many here serve an awesome God? Amen, amen. So listen, in closing, I'm going to do something that our governor don't want us to do. How many here know Amazing Grace? How many here know Amazing Grace? All right, come on. On the count of three. Now, before we sing Amazing Grace, right, I need us to make a loud noise. It's called Shabbat. It means to push things up into the upper realm, right? So on the count of three, I want you guys to yell hallelujah as loud as you can. Y'all ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, that didn't work. That didn't work. Because I'm going to tell you right now, had it worked, the ground would have shook. All right? So we got to do it again. I'm going to need y'all help over there, all right? We got men in blue that people want to see them defunded. I support each and every one of you officers over there. And just to let you guys know, I got the backing of my city. My own mayor, Mayor Andrew Konyak, has supported me being here. I got the Senator State Melendez in our city. Even our sheriff, Riverside County Chad Bianco, that's still outside the church has been open. I stand with anybody that stand with God. I stand, say that one more time, I don't care what color you are, I don't care how tall you are, how short you are, what language you speak, I stand with anybody that stand with God. So we're going to yell hallelujah one more time. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that sound good, that sound good. Get your Bibles, y'all ready? Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. Come on, y'all church, y'all sound good. Oh, y'all sound beautiful. You see this governor, we singing. God said he inhabits the praises of his people. Come on, we got to be found in this season. Come on, y'all sound good. Come on. Come on, lift your hands up and surrender. This is beautiful, surrender. God bless America. God bless everybody here. Amen.
Thank you so much. That was incredible. We need more singing. In fact, we are going to be coming back for more singing. We'll be announcing that soon. Freedom Angels will have an announcement. We're going to come back for a lot of singing all around this Capitol. So that was just a taste right there that you got. Okay, our next speaker is Mr. Alan Hostetter. He is the founder of the American Phoenix Project. Alan is a husband, father, and grandfather whom has spent 4 years in the Army Infantry, 20 years as a local law enforcement officer, and 9 years on SWAT before retiring as a police chief in 2010. As Alan began to see the shredding of the Constitution and the dismantling of our freedom, he began organizing in his own hometown of San Clemente, California. So we have Mr. Allen here all the way from Orange County. Please welcome him.
Thank you everyone so much. and I want to thank you all simply for showing up, because that is what's important, is that we all show up. I want to begin this actually just taking it down just a notch. I'm about to ask you to join me in a moment of silence. And that moment of silence is going to be for the millions and millions of Californians and people across this country who are jobless, desperate, out there committing suicide from this desperation and depression. Children that are being abused and sexually assaulted in their own homes because they can't go to school and they're left with violent parents that are drunk or on drugs in their own homes. But a moment of silence for all these people that are dying out there because they can't get into a hospital because they're afraid of COVID-19. So please, just take for this one moment of silence and please join me. Thank you. Gavin Newsom is a criminal. Gavin Newsom is a criminal. I'm about to explain exactly why for you. As I stated before I came up here, I was a police officer for 24 years, 9 of those years on a SWAT team where I spent most of my time chasing down some of the most violent criminals you can imagine, serving high-risk search warrants, responding to hostage situations, etc., etc. I only share that little bit of information with you so that when I talk about criminals and crime, you understand that I've had some experience with this. Gavin Newsom is a criminal. And I'm going to take you on a little journey back in time here to make this point. I'm going to go all the way back to 1968. I was 4 years old back in 1968. Some of you might remember this is the year that the Hong Kong flu struck the world. The population of the United States of America in 1968 was approximately 200 million people. The Hong Kong flu killed roughly 100,000 Americans, killed 1 million people around the world. Today our population is 330 million. And we are being fed an absolute lie as far as the death count from COVID-19. You know it, I know it, the numbers are fake, they're inflated, it's one huge lie. And we are being fed this bullshit number of about 150,000 deaths right now. You know that's nonsense. Yes, we do! So keep this in mind, right? 150,000 roughly dead in a population of 330 million today in 2020. Back in 1968, 100,000 died, population of 200 million. We haven't even reached yet per capita the death count from COVID-19 that we had in 1968 from the Hong Kong flu. Right? It's insane. So when I go back to Gavin Newsom being a criminal, the way that I want to talk about this is like this. When you look at those numbers and you look at the survivability rate of roughly 99.9% from this virus, you know he's full of crap. They're all looking at us straight in our eyes and lying to us day after day after day after day. The most evil mainstream media, global corporations around the world, 90% of the news media that we consume is put out by 4 to 6 corporations around the world. These lies that you're being fed. So we all know it's fake news. We all know we're being lied to. And Gavin Newsom and all these blue state governors, Inslee up in Washington, Brown in Oregon, Whitmer in Michigan, they look us straight in the eye and they lie to us. They think we're stupid. And what are they doing? They are taking actions, knowingly taking actions that are killing people. These people that I asked for that moment of silence for a moment ago, they're killing people. And back in my days as a cop, when I was putting together a case on somebody, and that somebody acted with intent, and they took intentional actions with malice of forethought that resulted in the deaths of 100,000 people. What do you think we called that back in the days when I was a cop? Murder! Yes, murder. Murder. Gavin Newsom is a criminal. He's been committing murder since the beginning of this. And now I want to talk a little bit about how our founding fathers would have dealt with this. Back in 1776, if somebody like this were sitting in a state house in one of those 13 colonies, leading like this, governing like this, as a tyrant, a dictator, killing people, our founding fathers, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, John Adams, Ben Franklin, they would have gotten on their horses and they would have rode into town. They would have dragged that bastard out by his hair. They would have dragged him into the town square, and they'd have given him a choice. They'd have said, Gavin, you can be hung, or you can be tarred and feathered and banished. Pick one. Of course, he would have taken the tar and the feather, and I would never encourage an act of violence against any member of our political class. That would be wrong, right? So I'm not encouraging that, but that's what would have happened. They would have drugged him out by his hair to the town square, tarred and feathered him, walked him out to the edge of a wood line, said, don't you ever come back, or the next option will be you're hung. He would have never been seen again. But what do we have here? For humiliation instead of tar and feathering? Take a guess. Recall. We're going to humiliate this bastard with a recall. There are recall booths here. I want to take a moment just to say thank you so much to all the people out there that are working up and down the state in the heat, sitting out there gathering these petition signatures. You are amazing people. I love you. We all love you. And I can't say enough about it. So make sure you sign these petitions. We need to get this killer out of Sacramento. Now I'm going to wrap up my comments here. I want to wrap up my comments briefly because when I speak all this fire and brimstone, because I'm feeling it and I know you're feeling it and I know what you want to do and I know what I want to do. So we're going to recall this guy. But I always end on an optimistic note. I want to talk a little bit about my nonprofit. It's called the American Phoenix Project. And it's all about what happens when we leave this crisis and we move on from here. We can never, ever, ever go back to normal. Ever. When I say that, I mean the way that we were being governed. We're going to go back to normal, no masks, those kinds of things. We're going to go back to our lives, our families, our friends. But we can never go back to the way it was as it relates to government and them lording over us and them becoming tyrannical overnight. We can never go back to that. So this nonprofit organization is dedicated to where we go from here and encouraging positive change, finding governmental corruption at the local level, the state level, the federal level, everywhere, and going after it. Dealing with the mainstream media, the evil that is the mainstream media, they have to be held accountable. Social media censorship. We've all been dealing with that. We got to take down these bastards that run the world, the masters of the universe, the Zuckerbergs, Jack, and on and on and on. It's coming. President Trump is already working on this. It's coming. It's coming. So thank you all so much for being here. When you leave here, this is a call to action from myself and all these wonderful speakers that were up here. It's a call to action. When you leave here, keep fighting. Keep marching. Keep organizing. Never, ever go back to sleep. We are awake. We're awake forever. We're going to pass being awake onto our children and our grandchildren. We're going to protect their future. Keep on fighting. Never stop. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alan. He is. He's an amazing patriot who's holding the line firmly for us in California. All right. Our last speaker is Mr. Earl Weber. He is a candidate for Congress in California's 37th Congressional District. He has quite a story. He immigrated from Jamaica here in 2002 when he was only 15 years old. I think as an immigrant, he understands what his family risked to get here, the sacrifices that he made. So Earl continues to give back to the United States that gave him the invaluable opportunity to succeed by now running for Congress. Please welcome Mr. Weber.
Thank you so much. Now on to
who is able to keep California from falling. We need to protect our religious freedom. Can I hear an amen? For way too long, Gavin Newsom and the tyrants of the Democrat Party have been lording over this state and controlling every aspect of our lives. And we don't stand for that. So my name is Errol Weber, a candidate for Congress in California's 37th Congressional District. I want to share the importance of our congressional representatives. You see, if we don't do a good job, an effective job at addressing key federal issues, it has a negative rippling effect on state level issues when it comes to quality of life. So right now we're in month number 5 of the COVID lockdown. And many people lost their jobs all across the state and all across the country. We need to ensure that as people get back to work, that preference goes to our American citizens and that new jobs are going to American citizens. When our federal lawmakers, especially the ones on the liberal side, when they're all about open borders and all that, what happens is they displace American citizens from available jobs. It also contributes towards wage suppression and displacing American citizens from accessing the already scarce affordable housing and services here in the United States, specifically here in California. On the federal level, there are many things we need to do to protect our country. We need to secure our border. We need to ensure that we protect our citizens. Remember, the primary job of the federal government is to protect its citizens and its interests. And it's my job to ensure that I'm here fighting to protect all of you and your interests on the federal level, and I'm looking forward to your support. For too long in California, we have had a morally bankrupt governor and an equally morally bankrupt Democrat majority in our state assembly and state senate. We have a governor who stays the death penalty for 700 death row inmates, and then in the next breath invites expectant mothers to come here and get abortions. You have a governor who will reinstitute the individual mandate to punish Californians for not getting health coverage they already can't afford, and then grant free health coverage to legal aliens. Does that make any sense? We have a governor who will shut down the entire state for months, and then the one weekend in the summer where he can really make a comeback as a business, they shut down all businesses over 4th of July weekend, but he keeps his winery open. What kind of nonsense is that? That's what tyrants do. Now, speaking of tyrants and speaking of communism, I'd like to tell you a little bit about who I'm running against. I'm not going to spend too much time. Her name is Karen Bass. Yes, I'm literally running against a Karen. She is, I would call her a communist Jew hater. So, folks, I need your help getting her out of office. We cannot have these communists in office, and especially considering that she's the chair of the Congressional Black Caucus. So she's the figurehead of the generational black victimhood that is fueling a Marxist race and class war in America right now. And now Joe Biden wants to take her on as VP. Do you really want China hugging Joe Biden as president, Karen Bass as vice president, and then Nancy Pelosi running the show? No. So we need to get out, we need to mobilize, and you need to recognize that even though I'm running for Congress all the way down in Beverly Hills to Inglewood, that there are things that you can do up here. I have folks who are driving up from San Diego to help me canvass. I have bikers who are coming into California to help me canvass. There is no excuse for anyone to not come and help me canvass. We have a state to take back, and I'm looking forward to all of your support. Make sure you go to Weber2020.com, and I'm looking forward to your donations. I'm looking forward to you sharing my conservative message and letting everyone know across the aisle, irrespective of which side of the aisle they're on, that there are conservative solutions to everybody's problems. So in my district, it's very heavily Democrat, and I need to make sure that I reach way across the aisle. And one of the things I like to point out is that though liberals have a specific set of things that they want, there's a core reason why they want it. A lot of times it's just for like financial security and things like that, but there's a conservative solution to addressing these things, and that is for us to then go out and share this conservative message. So folks,
I'm looking forward to your continued support. Again, my name is Errol Weber, Republican for Congress, California State. Let's protect religious freedom. Let us enforce school choice. Let us keep transparency so parents have the right to choose what's best for them, their family, and their children. Thank you so much. And also, in this district is Chris Fish, so make sure to check her out.
Thank you so much. We're going to close out with one song here. Here we go.
What's up, Sacramento? How you feeling? I was gonna rock a little musical set for you guys today, but we're running real low on time. I go by Oso Cali. I love Cali. I love my state, y'all. For real, man. I love this place. I don't want to see it run by no corrupt individuals, man. And you know what? We all are here because we feel in our heart and our soul that this is wrong. You know what I'm saying? So this is what I gotta say. Look around, all right? Every single one of us, we're family. This tune right here is called Come Family. When I hit the hook, I want y'all to sing it with me. It goes like this. So come family, I say now come family. Sing it with me. Come family, I say now come family. Cause I look around and I see where we be, and I see we in a state of emergency. I'm up here, I'm on emergency. I'm up here and I'm emergency. If we fought harder to understand than just to disagree, we wouldn't leave our families stuck as some refugees. Whether it was Syria, even in New Orleans, I tell you, Oso Cali, on me you can come and lean. So come here with me and we can find some peace. If we don't come together, then they'll never release the grips that they have on our society. So we must build a strong community, and I know that we will. We have the ability, no more blood to spill, because our love is the key, and that will help grow our entire family tree with the stronger branches and the roots so deep. Yeah, the waves are crashing, the right about our feet. We need to be proactive and not accept defeat. Together start fighting till we feel the relief. I feel the fire igniting, the next step is belief. So come family, I say now come family. Sacramento, come on sing it with me. It's like come family, I say now come family. It's not just you and me, it's him and her and us, and we don't succumb family. We won't succumb family. We'll overcome together, everybody we will need. So come family, I say now come family. We need to get together, living happily. So come family, I say now come family. Tell your mom, your dad, your uncle, your auntie. I know what you're thinking of, the fish in the sea, but my homie told me we need efficiency. So I'm here casting out, I'm just fishing, you see. It's time to work together more efficiently, and we can make this better, do things differently. Start with small changes here initially. Officially, we can be the changes that we wish to see. No more living separately, work together as a team in order to achieve this.